Hello and welcome to the e-learning platform of Galgottias University. This is Suruchi Agarwal, Assistant Professor at Department of Mass Communication from Galgottias University, and I am the host coordinator for the subject Basics of New Media. And today we will discuss about e-governance. So let's discuss about it. So, what will be the learning objectives of this particular lecture? After completing this topic, student would be able to understand e-governance, reasons for opting e-governance, initiatives taken for e-governance in India, 9 pillars of Digital India, and issues related to e-governance. So now we will talk about 9 pillars of Digital India. So when we talk about 9 pillars of Digital India, there are 9 initiatives mainly taken by the Indian governments. We can say, or these are the initiatives which makes Indian government Digital India strong. So the very first is Mobile Seva. It provides government services to the people through mobile phones and tablets. Second is Jeevan Praman. It is an Aadhaar-based biometric authentication system for pensioners. The system provides authenticity to digital life certificate without the necessity of the pensioners being present in person before his or her pension dispensing authority. Next is National Center of Geoinformatics. Under this project, Geographic Information System platform for sharing, collaboration, location-based analytics, and decision support system for department has been developed. Another one is National E-Governance Plan. It takes a holistic view of e-governance initiatives across the country, integrating them into a collective vision and a shared cause. It comprises of 31 mission mode projects approved in the year 2006, but later it was integrated into Digital India program. Another one is E-Kranti, National E-Governance Plan 2. It is an essential pillars of the Digital India initiatives. It was approved in the year 2015 with the vision of transforming e-governance for transforming governance. And there are 44 mission mode projects under E-Kranti which are at various stages of implementation. The first areas of E-Kranti are e-education. All schools will be connected to broadband. Free Wi-Fi will be provided in all secondary and higher secondary schools. Another one is PM Disha. It includes massive open online courses for leveraging e-education. Then another one is e-healthcare. E-healthcare would cover online medical consultation, online medical records, online medicine supply, pan-India exchange for patent information, etc. Farmers would also be covered under this. This would facilitate farmers to get real-time price information, online ordering of inputs, and online cash, loan, and relief payment with mobile banking. Another one is security. Mobile-based emergency services and disaster-related services would be provided to citizens on a real-time basis so as to take precautionary measures well in time and minimize loss of lives and properties. Another one is financial inclusion. Financial inclusion shall be strengthened using mobile banking, micro ATM programs, CSCs, post offices, etc. Another one is justice. Criminal justice system shall be strengthened by leveraging several related applications, that is e-courts, e-police, e-jails, e-prosecution, etc. Another one is planning. National GIS mission mode project would be implemented to facilitate GIS based decision making for project planning, conceptualization, design and development. Another one is cyber security. National Cyber Security Coordination Center has been set up to ensure safe and secure cyberspace within the country. Various initiatives under Digital India initiatives, like My Government, it aims to establish a link between government and citizen towards meeting the goal of good governance. It encourages citizens as well as people abroad to participate in various activities, that is do, discuss, poll, talk, blog, etc. Then is DigiLocker. It serves as a platform to enable citizens to securely store and share their documents with service providers who can directly access them electronically. E-Hospital online registration framework. It is an initiative to facilitate the patients to take online OPD appointments with government hospitals. This framework also covers patient care, laboratory services, and medical record management. Another one is National Scholarship Portal. It provides a centralized platform for application and disbursement of scholarship to students under any scholarship scheme. Another one is the Darpan. It is an online tool that can be used to monitor and analyze the implementation of critical and high priority projects of the state. It facilitates presentation of real-time data on key performance indicators of selected schemes, projects to the senior functionaries of the state government as well as district administration. Another program is Pragati, proactive governance and timely implementation. It has been aimed at starting a culture of proactive governance and timely implementation. It is also a robust system for bringing e-transparency and e-accountability with real-time presence and exchange among the key stakeholders. It was launched in the year 2015. The another one is Common Service Centers. It is being implemented to develop and provide support to the use of information technology in rural areas of the country. So these are the initiatives under Digital India initiatives. Another one is new media and the democracy. If we talk about the democratic framework of the new media, makes it as an appropriate medium for a democratic society. As discussed earlier, democracy should give space for public debate and discussion on the issues concerning public life. New media technologies, especially the most powerful and popular one, internet, is blessed with a number of new groups, discussion lists, and websites for debating social, political, and cultural issues. The rapid growth of internet around the globe shows the potential of the media, as it is characterized by open communication, decentralization of authority, freedom of share and data reusability. It can evoke different plans of radical discourse on democracy. For the last 5 years, there has been a considerable increase in the internet population in and playing a major role in recapturing the forum of discussion on various issues. Other than these, there is a considerable growth in the number of online initiatives like quasi-public service sites, specialized search engines, social event calendars, social networking sites, various new media services like podcasts, videocast, and RSS feeds, etc. Popular social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, the earlier one, old one where Orkut, MySpace, etc. are very popular nowadays in the social communication sector. Today, Snapchats are there, like also WhatsApp is there. So we can see the proliferation in the number of websites handling information on environment, social development, social mobilization, literacy, citizen journalism, various issues concerning a pluralistic society. Online encyclopedia like Wikipedia are revolutionizing the information flow. So what is new media and e-governance? New media has been used extensively by social movements to educate, organize, share cultural products of movements, communicate, coalition build, and more. The Zapatista Army of National Liberal of Chiapas, Mexico, were the first major movement to make widely recognized and effective use of new media for communiques and organizing in 1994. Apart from the wide urban user base, Indian new media communication as part of e-governance initiatives by the central and state government is revolving around some promising e-governance plans. Considering the Indian scene, the government of India had started e-governance initiatives with a conception to launch the new media communication as a government to citizen communication plan. The spirit behind government to citizen plan services will encompass all the services that the government is delivering to the citizens. Services like transport, medicine, education are example of e-governance sectors. It is important to note now that there are a number of aspects like policies, infrastructure, human resources, technology, infrastructure, etc. will be required for the successful operation of e-governance. Concept of e-government is the transformation of public sector's internal and external relationship through internet-enabled operations, information and communication technology in order to optimize government services delivery and governance. So what are the issues related to e-governance when we talk about? So if we talk about issues, the first one is infrastructure, lack of basic infrastructure facilities like electricity, internet, etc. Initiatives like BharatNet and Saubhagya are steps taken in this regard. Another one is cost. E-governance measures are costly affairs and require huge public expenditure. In developing countries like India, the cost of project is one of the major impediments in the implementation of e-governance initiatives. Another issue is privacy and security. Recent spark in data leak cases have threatened the people's faith in the e-governance. So therefore, implementation of e-governance project must have security standards and protocol for safeguarding the interest of all classes of masses. Another issue is digital divide, huge gap between users and non-users of e-government services. So digital divide takes form in rich, poor, male, female, urban, rural, etc. segment of the population. So the gap needs to be narrowed down, then only the benefits of e-governance would be utilized equally. So e-governance is getting momentum in India, but public awareness and digital divide are important issues to be addressed. The success of e-governance measures largely depending on the availability of high-speed internet, and the nationwide rollout of 5G technology in the near future will strengthen our resolve. So these are the few references from where you can gain in-depth knowledge about e-governance. So thank you very much for watching this lecture. Next time we will meet with some new and exciting topic. Thank you.